Record. Hello, and welcome to the weekly broadcast for Strategic Speaking for Results. I am Elizabeth Bachman, your host, and today I'm going to talk about strategic networking, strategic connecting, going beyond the obvious. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I see this with a great many of my clients, and especially with the women who are in the visible and valued mastermind groups, how networking and making the strategic connections, it can be a lot of fun and not bring you very much, or it can be incredibly helpful. The key is to be strategic about it. What I've noticed is that women tend to network sideways, shall we say, networking with peers, networking with people who are at your more or less same level. And I understand it. I do that too. You want to network with the people that you're comfortable with, that you understand. But if you want to use connections as a strategy to get you somewhere, then you need to network up. Instead of sideways, you need to be networking up. More than just one level. 2 levels, even 3 levels, if you can manage it. This is important, and it's a little scary, and it's a little tricky. But there are some great ways that you can figure out how to do it, that you can get a good strategy for this. One of the best ways I found, well, first of all, before you actually do any strategic connecting, you need to know where you want to go. So where do you want to go in your career? Whether it's by yourself or it's within a company, or maybe you want to get, say, you want to get up to vice president or C-level, make a plan as to where you want to go, what that would look like. One interesting way of doing that is look around you and say, whose career would I like to have? Who looks like they're really got it going? They've got the kind of career that would be incredibly rewarding, fulfilling, I'd be good at it. Whose career would I like to have? And then figure out how they got there. What are they doing? What is it that they're doing that is making them interesting and valuable to the world, to their industry, to their company? See if you can get some help with that. And of course, this goes without saying, you want to make sure that you are actually qualified for where you want to go. Or if you want to lay out a strategy where it may take you a year or two to get there, what do you need to learn? What do you need to be good at? What experiences do you need to have? If you're in a large company, one of the great things you can do is network with people in other departments. So you learn more about other departments. Maybe you do a swap with somebody. Maybe you shadow somebody for half a day and then they shadow you for half a day. The more you know about how the rest of the company works, the better, especially if you are at a senior director level and you want to be sure that you get up to C-level. You need to know enough about the whole company that you would be in a position to be helpful in steering the whole company. The second part is find your allies. Get your informal board of advisors. This was something that I did when I started my opera company back in 2004 was when I started it. I assembled a group of people that I could go to who had the experience I didn't have. There were major things I hadn't done yet. So I always had this informal group of advisors whom I could call up and say, hey, I understand how much money it should cost to rent pianos because I've spent a lot of time in the rehearsal rooms, but I've never paid for a brochure before. They seem to me they want a lot of money for this. Is that a reasonable amount? And indeed, I found out that it costs as much to print a brochure as it does to rent the pianos. Who knew? In any case, think about what is the experience you need to have. If you don't know, ask somebody. In a large company, you can find mentors. In a small company, you need to find mentors and advisors maybe outside your normal circle. One of the things I find with a lot of my clients who tend to be at a very senior level is if they're having some trouble being noticed, being paid attention to, we talk about, do they have relationships with anybody on the board? Who do you know who's on the board? Now, you don't want to go behind the back of the people. There are plenty of companies, especially smaller companies, where the CEO guards access to the board and doesn't let anybody else have access to the board. That's when you have the paranoid CEOs. But who do you know who knows somebody on the board who could connect you? Look outside. Networking groups are very good for this. Make sure that you're in a networking group that has people who are senior to you, who are a little farther along the path than you are. Ask for help. And my other favorite technique is a 15-minute mini mentoring session. Think about who would you really like to be connected with? Who do you want access to? And ask for 15 minutes of their time. You ask for one thing, ask their advice on something that you know they've been through that you haven't been through yet. Make your wish list. And then again, if you're you're in part of a networking group, say, who could connect me to this person or that person? My client, Sarah, did this. She had 15-minute mentoring groups. She had 4 people that she worked with and that she asked, and she would go to them every 2 or 3 months. One of them finally said, hey, you keep asking me for advice, and every time you come back, you've made further steps. I think you're doing this because you want to work with me. So why don't you just come? I will find a job for you. Come and work for me. And so she got the dream job in the dream company because she had built up a relationship with that CEO. So think beyond the obvious, ask for help. If you're curious about how to do this, this is the sort of thing that we talk about a lot with my clients. Reach out to me and ask. And have a wonderful week. I'll see you on the next one.